This is not just another golf podcast. This is Golf Underground. This is Golf Underground. We just happen to be the third funniest podcast in golf. We interview PGA Tour pros, Hall of Fame athletes, rock stars, business leaders. Sure, we talk about golf, but we have fun. All right, let's do it. Welcome to Golf Underground. Now your hosts, Wardo, Sully, and MLB Hall of Famer George Brett.
Hey, welcome to Golf Underground. Here we are back in the stable. George, Wardo, I missed the hell out of you. Tomorrow's a big day. Tomorrow's opening day, Kansas City Royals against Cleveland Guardians, I believe.
Cleveland Indians.
Are they coming back?
I'm never calling them Guardians.
Really?
I never have.
George, that's very insensitive. That's very, really?
Yeah. Right. We own a hockey team in Spokane. You know what that hockey team's name is?
The Indians?
No, the Chiefs.
Let's see.
We own a baseball team in Spokane. You know what the name of that team is?
What?
The Indians. We've never changed.
Hey, so how did you hold true while everyone else was sort of caving to the DEI pressures?
We do a lot of stuff with the tribal people in Spokane. We have jerseys with their names on them for the whole week, and then we auction them off and give all the money to the tribes, and they love us. We have a great relationship.
Wow.
Yeah. Great relationship.
Why do you think that wasn't the case everywhere?
I have no idea. I have no clue.
Yeah.
Because somebody thought it was bad.
Well, even the Redskins are talking about coming back now.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk some baseball for this year. So Royals, obviously great run last year. Obviously coming down the stretch, if you would have said they were going to win a playoff series, be pretty damn competitive with the Yankees, you said I would have taken it. So give us what we're looking at for this year, how spring training was and where we're going.
Well, 2 years ago, they won 56 games. Last year, they won 86. Big change. And what did they do? They went out and got some pitching. They got Seth Lugo and they got all ready to go with Cole Reagans. And then the other two were always who was throwing the best. We'll just make them a starter. So it shows that starting pitching is colossal.
Yep.
And we made a trade last year and we got Ursack. And so now we had a closer. And if you remember going back to the 14 and 15 seasons, we had a great bullpen in those seasons and we had 4 solid starters. And that's what the Royals have done. They have great starting pitching. Lorenzen's thrown great in spring training. Bubek's thrown great in spring training. Those are our 5 starters. Now we've added strength to the bullpen. You got maybe the best player in the whole game of baseball, Bobby Witt.
Yeah.
And last year they managed to win a lot of games with maybe the worst offensive output of any outfield in the history of baseball. Mm-hmm. And this year the guys are swinging a little bit better. We need some more output from them. And if everything goes as planned, it's going to be a pretty good summer in Kansas City, as far as I'm concerned.
Hey, what's more important, middle relief or starters? Because the formula that worked in 15 was a bit different than what got us to the playoffs last year, right?
You would have starters, and if your 1 or 2 starter was pitching good, they'd go 6-7 innings, pitch 100 pitches. Because that's the new rule. If you go 100 pitches, you're done.
Right.
And you have to have that guy. If that happens in the 6th inning, you need a guy to pitch the 7th, 8th, and 9th. We have those guys out there. Angel Zerpa Long, the new guy we got, Estevez, or however you say his name. So we got those guys out there. But we got 3 number 1 starters as far as I'm concerned. And the way that Lorenzen and Bubic has thrown the ball this year, I mean, we got 5 solid starters. It's pretty impressive. So if we had to win, if we were leading the game in the 5th or 6th inning, the game was over.
Yep, it was.
15. And I'm pretty confident that the bullpen is almost that good right now. Hopefully they'll get better as the season goes on and they'll play the same formula. That's all they got to do. But they got to score runs. And last year that was tough.
Yeah. Well,
Vinny did start the season. Vinny's got a little sore hamstring right now. Did it his last at bat in spring training. Hit a ground ball to second baseman. Tried to beat out a double play. Kind of tweaked his hamstring. The one good thing about Vinny, you don't rely on his speed. So a bad hamstring's not really going to slow down.
The modern day.
You'd be worried. You know, if it was Messi, you'd be worried. If it was Garcia, you'd be worried. If it was India, you would be worried. But with Vinny, if he loses a step or two and he does all the treatment and then it gradually gets better, it's not going to.
Who wins a race, Vinny or Billy Butler?
Vinny does. Vinny.
Remember they had that thing out in the right field where you can race Billy Butler? They have a line. Every 6-year-old kid was beating Billy Butler's line.
But then, you do that race now. You race Bobby Witt from the left field to right field, No one's ever going to beat Bobby Witt. They should do a Vinny or a slower guy, a Sal. They should have a Sal race one time, Okay, let's see who can beat Sal. It would be, everybody's fired up.
Yeah, it feels different.
We won as many games as anybody in either Florida or Arizona in spring training, but spring training doesn't mean it.
Yeah.
Spring training. A lot of times you win games and it's our number 86s against their number 86s.
Yeah, right.
And our 86s are better than theirs. And that's the gist of the story.
Any fun stories come out of spring break this year?
Spring break or spring training?
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I would say there were just a lot of eyes. We had this new guy, Jack Caglione, on our team, number 1 pick last year from Florida. He's a massive individual, 6'5", 260. I don't know what he weighs. Not an ounce of fat on him, size 17 shoes. He's got power like that comes around every once a generation.
Really?
And man, he threw together some at-bats in spring training that were eye-opening. I mean, it's funny, in the spring training game, when he came up, not only were all our guys on the top step watching, but the opposing team.
Really? Why?
Because his name's Jack. Everybody wants to see this guy swing.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I'm not saying he's going to be here this year and hit 30 home runs, but he had a great spring. He had some great at-bats. He had a bat one time where we're facing a guy throwing 102 miles an hour, and he wouldn't throw him a change. He wouldn't throw him a fastball. And all of a sudden, throws a change-up. Zach swings out, thinks it's going to be a fastball. Change-up, swings and misses. And after that at-bat, man, he was so locked in. He ended up walking, but it was maybe one of the best at-bats I saw all spring.
Wow. What do you think the state of baseball is?
I don't know. I follow the Royals. That's all I follow. I don't follow the state. I think in Kansas City, it's pretty good. After last year, it's real good, and that's all I care about.
Yeah. So, Wardo, you're going to head out
I
tomorrow.
don't care about
I'm heading out.
You're going to go. You're going to see George. Is George going to walk you through and hey, Susie, and this guy's been working here 40 years, and that one.
I'm going with Mike Odell. We got the call up. Yeah, so he's taking Turtle and I get Turtle a little free time, so we'll be out there and knocking it up.
Watching racing.
I don't know. I haven't thought that.
That's not his job.
Watching the dog.
I don't know. Will George invite you up to the big man suite?
Opening day is a tough day.
Yeah.
Opening day is a real tough day. Everybody.
I see where I stand, George.
We will have a lot of people in the GM's box and JJ's box. I'll sit there for 5 innings, and then I'll go up to the owner's box because we'll have a lot of owners in town that don't live here.
Yeah.
And they come in. I know a lot of them, so it'll be my one chance to see them.
Yeah.
And say hi.
Will they bring
I won't get any George time tomorrow, is what you're saying.
You won't see me.
You get a lot of George. You get enough George time, all right?
Thanks for joining the Golf Underground. Now, the Golf Underground is brought to you by Star Companies, KC. Experience a more energy efficient and comfortable home with Star's insulation services. Regal Distributing, specializing in the distribution of food service and professional cleaning supplies to a variety of industries. Cowell Insurance, providing brokerage and risk management services for over 25 years. Sono Orthopedics, care plans backed by research and clinical results tailored perfectly to individual needs. Bob Sight Ford and Bob Sight Independence Kia, where you'll score a double eagle on your next car or truck. Lewisburg Ford. Nobody sells more F-150s than Lewisburg Ford. And Celebrity Greens. Put a custom PGA caliber putting green in your backyard for the ultimate golf experience. Now, onto the program.
Hey, and of course, they're probably going to call him in during the 7th inning, the annual George. George, what's your thoughts on the season? And right, you're going to. What are you talking about? I've seen. How many times have we said the last playoff series? You were like the star. You got more airtime. You and Taylor Swift were the two biggest aired people sitting in boxes of any. And if Bob Costas wants to go on vacation with you, it was unbelievable.
Really?
George Brett, he was spitting out every stat that you had, the man of grit. And he's got his voice and he's
sound like Howard Cosell.
I kept
His
getting all
name
these
is
texts
George
during
Brett.
the Yankees.
Bob's last games ever. Didn't they take him off the air?
Did they?
I think they took him off the air.
Why? Because of the love he was showing
wasn't
you?
his
I don't think
best-
that's right.
It wasn't his best performance. Well, I kept getting all these texts from when you and Leslie are sitting in the box at the Yankees series. Who's this? Who's this young girl with George? And I'm like, I'm guessing
Leslie.
it's Leslie.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
she's
Leslie.
quite a bit younger than he is.
You were getting texts like
Yeah,
that?
oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So Leslie,
Look at my text.
she's keeping
Yeah.
up with it.
She'll be there tomorrow.
She's keeping up with it.
She goes every opening day.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the old text. I just kept taking picture. There he is again. My kids were walking by. Is George on TV again? I'm like, but I think that's great, right? Because I think what helps baseball continue what it used to be. Well, I think it's gone through a little bit of this is tying in some of the old with the new, right? I felt that there was some sort of separation. You had the old grit baseball players, the George Bretts, the Johnny Benches, and the you name it.
You gotta say Robin Yount.
You had to say that's your boy. I know that's your boy, Pete Rose, right?
Kirby,
Right?
Kirby,
Reggie Jackson, your buddy Reggie.
You gotta
right?
say those guys' names. You
Yeah.
have to. You gotta bring them in. The guys that played hard and
Goose
played
Gossage.
hard, tried to break up double plays.
That's his guy.
And stretch singles to doubles.
Yeah, getting fights at third base. Greg Nettles, your buddy Greg Nettles.
Hardly anybody does that.
No, but that was the separation in baseball, wasn't it? Right? All of a sudden, we're going to turn into Instagram star baseball players
Yeah.
as opposed to construction worker baseball players. You're more a construction worker,
Yeah.
right? You know what they are? The new.
You know what I liked about baseball back when I played? A lot of guys, I'd say 90% of the guys would hit a ground ball to shortstop or second baseman or third baseman, and they know they're out. In that level, you don't make a lot of errors. They know they're out, but they wanted to see how close they could make it. You know?
Yeah.
Every time I hit a fly ball to center field, I knew I could never be on second base when the guy caught it.
Yeah.
But that was always a goal of mine.
Sure.
I want to see how close I can get to it. Now you're so goddamn mad it popped up and the ball goes, you're out. They don't drop pop-ups in the big leagues either. But I just wanted to see how close I could get to second. I never got there.
You got to hit it higher, George.
Yeah.
You got to hit it higher with your clubs
Right.
too.
Right. Yeah. So that's your big failure in your career.
The way we play nowadays, guys hit a ground ball. Very few, maybe 20% of the guys run hard to first. They hit a fly ball, probably 20% even touch first base.
Yeah.
They just jog and they might not even get to the base.
Yeah.
And they turn left to go to the first base dugout or make a U-turn and run back to the third base.
What about the catcher? Ground ball is the short catcher running up behind to back up
Sal
first.
does that.
Sal still does that?
They still do it.
Do they all do it?
They all do it. They have to do it.
They have to do it.
Ground ball to shortstop, second base, maybe not so much third baseman because if he throws,
Yeah, it's going to be an outfield anyway. Right.
But anything shortstop, second base, they do it every time.
Is Sal
Because they
quick
can
enough?
throw it.
Is he quick enough to get up there? Or is it just
That's in the general area.
Prevent him to go into third if there's a ball that passes.
Yeah. I was a catcher growing up, and then I started playing Knights of Columbus softball. They said, you're going to be a catcher. And I started running, backing up first baseman. And the guy came, he's like, the fuck are you doing? This is Knights of Columbus baseball. I said, hey, that's how I know how to do it. And I blew my hammy doing it once. I couldn't play for 4 games.
What's the water barrier?
What am I going to do? Right.
But I think too, the game of baseball with that, I think the speeding up,
Pitch clock.
the pitch clock is huge, and speeding up the game, I think, is big. And I think that modernizes the game a little bit. And back in the day, it used to be 7:05 start for every game. And then the fans, if you stay till the end, you're leaving at 10, 10:30,
Yeah.
sometimes 11.
On a Tuesday.
So kids got school and
Yeah.
stuff. The one thing the Royals have done, they did it last year, and I haven't looked at the schedule, what time the games are, but early in April, the games are at 6.
Yeah, it's great.
And they're two and a half hour
Yeah,
games.
it's great.
So it's 8:30.
It's almost
Kids
too
can still
short.
Come to the game now.
Yeah.
And still, if you're 12 years old, you got to go to school the next day. Back in the day, it was 7:05, sometimes 7:30. And you get home at 11 o'clock at night, and you'd look at the attendance in April. Even when we were good, the attendance in April was terrible.
Yeah.
But once school got out, oh my God, it was a completely different story. So I think with the pitch clock speeding up the games a little bit, you move the games to 6 o'clock, you're going to get more 12, 13, 8-year-old kids coming to ball games with their parents because they can get home and be ready for school the next day.
Yeah. And that's good for the growth of the game. Hey, a question.
Well, that part of the scheduling too might have been, the players, those construction worker players.
Yeah.
They were trying to start the games later to keep them. Their tea time at Westport was later.
That's right.
Now the Alex Gordons of the world,
Yeah.
they're getting to the ballpark early.
Right.
They're doing protein shakes.
You don't want to get to Westport too early. You want to wait.
You want to wait.
You don't want to.
Get there at 11:30.
You don't want to stay late either. I'll tell you. Question for all of us, a discussion point, because I'm going through this now, even with my own sales team, which applies to this grit that we're talking about. And you've had a lot of young employees come in here, right? And you give them tasks and jobs. You see these ball players. Can you teach grit? Can you teach that old school mentality? Because I'm finding it very difficult to try to instill this work ethic. This is like, you talk about Alex Gordon, right? Hardworking dude, outworked everybody. You outworked everybody. Can you teach it?
I think some people just have it. The funny story on the grit and just the young generation. A kid came by, 2 guys came by the other day trying to sell cable and internet, probably 3 weeks ago. And I said, I don't know. And Sarah happened to be here. I'm like, go talk to her. She's in charge. And then they send this long email. Then the guy comes back again. He's trying to sell me a $70 a month cable thing. Comes back again. I'm like, I'm busy. Returns again yesterday. I'm going to give him the fucking business.
Damn right.
Showed up. And he's trying. And I'm like, I'm kind of chuckling like, this guy's got to have somebody better to call on than this shithole basement business in the basement. Right.
But ask you a question. Does that mean my phone will work down here?
Probably not. It's kind of by design.
You need the Wi-Fi codes right there on the wall.
But no, I think, can you teach it? Yes, you can modify it, right? And you can give people direction. I'm not going to say I'm great at it, but I think some people either have it or don't. Unfortunately, I think in golf and sometimes business, the talented folks that get out of bed and just do well and things don't have the work ethic. And then the people that maybe things come a little harder to, they're working their tail off, but they're, as Bill Self says, their ceiling's down here. You want a guy where their ceiling's here. Yeah, you can teach it, modify it. It's like saying, can you teach speed in golf? Yeah, but some people just naturally have more club heads.
But that's teachable. Teaching attitude, I'm finding, is really difficult, right? You know, we do these morning huddles. It's just like a sports team, right? It's the same kind. Sports and business, same damn thing. Right? It really is. And I'll put that Zoom camera on, and I'll have all my salespeople, and I look at some of them, and they're just like this. And I'll do everything I can to perk them up. It's a good day. Let's go. Let's do it. And you'll still see it. And no matter how much I poke, do you see baseball players with the same thing?
Well,
or if they're at that level, they don't have it.
No, the guys that I see, and I was just in spring training, and I was there a lot. And I get there probably at 8:30 or 9. Okay. You take the field at 10. When I'm walking from where I park my car, I walk by the batting cages. There's 4 cages in there. All you hear is bam, bam, bam. Well, that starts at 8 in the morning. Those cages open at 8. They close at 10. They're full.
Nice.
The young guys have to go in there first. The non-roster 40-man guys, they're in there first. And then the guys like Bobby Witt and Sal and the guys that have been around a little bit, they get the later shift. And those cages are full. Now what happens, they go out and they practice. And then they go in and have lunch. And they have lunch from, let's say, 11:45 to 1 o'clock. Game starts at 1 o'clock. At 12:30, those cages are full again. They're out there swinging again.
Mm-hmm.
So now the game starts, okay? You got 45 guys, 50 guys in the dugout. They watch the first 2 or 3 innings, the guys that are going to go in later in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Witt's going to play 5 innings. So already said he's going to get 3 at-bats. He's playing 5 innings. Cam, you're going to go in next. All those guys that are going back in, guess where they go in the 3rd inning? They go back to the cages and they hit again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's amazing. So I'm not going to say the guys don't work hard. I mean, it's like this in every spring training camp too. These guys, I think sometimes they swing too much.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a thing in golf, Kevin, where you can go and pound balls? Okay, once you got it, okay,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
And I've told the hitting coaches, I said, I think these guys swing too many times. They'll swing 250 swings a day.
Oh.
Yeah, I think in golf, I think it's almost, sometimes it's just people are hitting way too many balls or go work short game pitching, putting, more of an outcome skill-based routine versus just banging balls. And so that's been a lot of my messaging to players of all levels, but obviously the players that are better, like, let's go get more external, go less internal thought and make the ball do what you're going to do with it and accept the result. And I think obviously in baseball, the ball's coming at you so much faster and you got so much less time to react, where golf, it's just, you can think your way into making a double bogey pretty easily. And so, yeah, I mean, people hit way too many.
Our good friend right here, Alex Gordon. I mean, I told Alex every year, you take too many swings, but he had a routine. He had a routine that he did.
Yeah.
And he did that routine every single.
What's the downside of doing it? Will you get tired?
Yeah, you get tired. I mean, he'd be in the weight room. I'd be working out in the locker room. They have a huge weight room. And all I would do is I would be doing the elliptical or riding a bicycle for getting my morning exercise in. And I would see him over there, I mean, seriously lifting weights, doing pull-ups, doing massive 20 pull-ups with like a 50-pound weight tied around his waist. I'm going, we had a game. This is 8 o'clock in the morning and you're doing all this. And
Wow.
we have a game at 1?
Right.
And then he would go to the cages. But hey, Alex, Hall of Fame baseball player for the Kansas City Royals. It worked for him.
Mhm.
It would have drained me. I would have been so zapped. I would have had no energy.
I don't know about that. What was your routine this morning?
I got this morning at 6 because I didn't know the time zone difference, how I was going to wake up. So I set my alarm for 6 and my wife says, what the hell's going on? I said, look, I got things I have to do today. I got to be over at the stable at 8 o'clock.
He's like, I hate the stable.
8 o'clock is 6 o'clock. in Arizona, and I was there for 3 months.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how my body was going to react. So I set the alarm early, made some coffee, turned on TV, watched a little Fox News, and looked at my iPad and did some texting. Finished off the text that I didn't read the other day. And somebody got really upset that I didn't return the text too soon. So got a little texting war today, and went and got a cup of coffee and came here.
I wish we could share that. We won't.
Amazing.
So you missed your normal routine of you used to take London for a nice walk.
That's been done.
You'd work out, and then you steam. You always get your steam.
I'm gonna do that this afternoon. I'm gonna go visit a friend I haven't seen in a while. That's not feeling very good right now, health wise, and I'm gonna go visit he and his wife, and then go home and work out this afternoon. My kids are coming to dinner. I haven't seen all three of my kids together in 3 months, so they're all coming tonight for dinner.
It's nice. My son's birthday. We're doing the same.
Sweetie flying in tonight.
Let's go.
Okay. And Mike's going to stay at the house, and he said, "Okay, I'll be there between 8:15 and 8:30."
On opening day,
him a glass of wine.
Oh.
Save him 1 glass.
Perfect.
do you remember back in the day, opening day, where you'd have all those people on the corners of all the streets
Selling
selling
newspapers.
Oh yeah.
Best.
Yeah, that was
Look at that.
That was cool.
I'd like to do that.
Spring is in the air.
Like, yeah.
Do that when I was a player, but when I retired, they wanted me to go out there. And man, you're out there at 6 a.m, freezing your ass off.
Yeah, it's usually cool.
Standing on the paper, trying to sell a paper.
That was the
Crazy.
best. I mean, it was cool to see. Spring was there.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally agree.
Spring was there.
Cowell Insurance Services is your leading program administrator for workers' compensation. They're dedicated to meeting the unique challenges of the insurance industry and assisting employers in reducing their costs. CIS has provided insurance claim and loss control services to various industries, including trucking, construction, retail convenience stores, and healthcare, as well as public entities for over 30 years. They work with both retail agents and industry clients, or a combination of the two. If you're tired of fighting the rising costs of premiums and claims, give Cowell Insurance Services a call. Their dedicated staff is ready to find you the best insurance option at the most competitive price. They can help to define or enhance your safety program in order to move you in the right direction in reducing your claim and premium costs. Contact Cowell Insurance Services today, 816-214-4070.
What's up, Underground? Sully here with a message from our friends over at Bob's Site. Now, buying a new vehicle can be a bit like buying a new set of clubs, which means when you want to drive the ball straight, you seek advice from experts, golf pros like our boy Wardo. And when it comes to buying your next car or truck, you also need expert advice so that you drive away in style. Well, you now have options with the Site family's expanded dealership, now including Honda and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Lawrence, Kansas. And they're there to guide you to the perfect vehicle. With a commitment to exceptional service and a real passion for helping each customer, they're like the trusted golf pros of the auto world. And they're ready to analyze your needs and match you with your ideal ride. So step into bobsite.com or visit their Lawrence locations. Experience the difference of a team that's dedicated to helping you navigate your options, ensuring you drive off with confidence and satisfaction. Hey, Brian Sullivan of Golf Underground with my favorite orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Kevin Whitty from Sano Orthopedics. Hey, Doc, golf season's over. My back is killing me. I know it's football season, so you get a lot of kids coming in, blown ACLs, all sorts of body parts with problems. And then, of course, those baseball players. I know you fix a lot of elbows. Why is Sano Orthopedics the absolute best sports medicine orthopedic group in Kansas City?
Well, if you want to see the guys in town who've had the best orthopedic fellowship training in sports medicine, including training with Dr. James Andrews and Dr. Larry Lemack, come see us. We individualize patients' plans to get them back to that activity and that sport that they love, and we actually care and listen to our patients and follow up with them, make sure that they're getting the results they need.
Okay, and so the three things that separate you: number one, best training; number two, you specialize in getting people on that field; number three, you're actually listen. Where can I learn more? Because you got me all in, and I don't really want to get fixed, but it's time.
At SanoOrthopedics.com, 816-525-2840.
Hi, this is George Brett, Hall of Fame baseball player, and I've been playing golf for over 35 years. Hitting the ball far was never my problem, but the closer I got to the greens, that's when my problems began. When I wanted a golf practice area in my backyard, I called Celebrity Greens. They are the industry leader in custom-built synthetic golf greens. These championship caliber, low-maintenance greens roll great, react like real bent grass, and hold chip shots that check and spin. I absolutely love mine, not only in Kansas City, but also in Arizona. Call the pros at Celebrity Greens at 1-888-507-7960 or visit them online at celebritygreens.com. Practice like the pros or people like me that want to be pros right in your own backyard.
Hey, Brian Sullivan, Golf Underground, with a little tip for you. If you're looking to buy a new Ford, you have to check out my buddy, Jason Gudenkoff at Lewisburg Ford. They've been saving Midwest Ford buyers thousands of bucks for over 40 years because they do business the right way. They sell everything, check this out, for $50 over invoice. That's simple and cheap. And they win a lot of awards. In fact, they won Ford's President's Award 17 times. That's the top Ford award. And they only give it to dealers with superior customer satisfaction in sales and service. So they know how to take care of customers better than anybody. Now, what these guys know how to do also, keep this in mind, sell trucks. Lewisburg Ford has sold more F-150s than any other Ford dealership in Greater Kansas City. That's 2 years running. And last year, they were the #1 F-150 sales leader in the entire state of Kansas. So, no hassle. $50 over invoice pricing, unparalleled customer satisfaction, and a huge selection. That's a perfect recipe for selling trucks. So, check out all their inventory and prices online at lewisburgford.com or give them a call at 816-444-2300.
New golf clubs, a big screen TV to watch the U.S. Open, or maybe even a new golf cart that I've got my eye on.
No matter how you choose to spend the savings, if you're looking to put a dent in your monthly heating and cooling bills, the answer may be right over your head. If your attic isn't insulated properly, you're missing out on a prime opportunity to cut costs. Call the certified energy experts at Star Companies, Inc., 816-353-2160 for a free estimate to learn how they can help you save money. 816-353-2160 or visit starcompanieskc.com.
So who are the best teams in the AL this year? Who's going to be hard to compete with?
I think they say Minnesota, Cleveland. Let me see who else is in our division. Our division, everybody but Chicago is.
They're bad again, huh?
Well, you don't go from 23 wins to. It's a big deal if they go from 23 wins to 53.
Hey,
wins
what about our switch last year?
Yeah.
30 more games.
30,
Right?
we'll get 30 more games.
Yeah,
Okay.
they'll still suck, right?
Well, we need some freebies along the way, so we want to keep them down at
I
23.
think last year, we played them 12 times. We were 11-1 against
It's
them.
amazing.
It's good for your record.
We were good on the road, right? Weren't we good on the road last year? You don't know. You don't give a shit. Well, we're gonna have a fun year, and I don't think it's going to take until late August for people to jump on board. Right? People weren't following it last year, but boy, did they get in.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Right.
it's hard to follow it when you win 56 games and all of a sudden you're going, well, let's see if it's for real.
Mhm. Don't
Guess
tease
what?
me.
It came real, and then people really got behind him. And I think from last year's success, the fans are excited. They're
Yeah,
really excited.
totally
And then
agree.
when they see the spring training record, 20 wins, 12 losses, that excites people.
Yeah.
Although spring training games don't mean anything.
Yep.
We've had guys come to spring training and hit 500, and guess what? They still get sent down to the minor leagues because
Right.
it's such a small sample size.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting. But I'm put it this way: I'm really looking forward to baseball more this year than I was last year.
Of course.
I was
course.
hoping we would get better. I didn't. My wildest dreams, 30 games better,
Mhm.
and then beat the Orioles 2 straight games.
Yeah.
Well, Jackson knew they were going to get better.
And my son,
Scheduled his wedding around it.
he got engaged, and he says, "Okay, Dad, me and Monet are going to get married." I said, "Oh, that's great, Jackson. When's the wedding?" He said, "November." I go, "Why November?" Dad, in case the Royals make the playoffs.
Wow.
Well, my son used to be a clubby for the Royals for like 6 years.
Yeah.
He was the bat boy, the right field line guy. He would unpack bags, do the laundries, clean the toilets, did all that stuff all through high school.
Nice.
And then in the summer when he was in college, come back and do all that stuff. And he said, "Well, I want all the clubbies to come." I go, "Jackson, they won 56 freaking games last year. They're not going to make the play." "Dad, you never know." Sure enough,
Attaboy.
if he would have scheduled that in October, guess what? They wouldn't have been able to come.
Boy.
And all the clubbies were there. So it was great.
Unbelievable. All right. So final thought before we wrap up our Royals season show. If you see Wardo in the hallway tomorrow, you'll acknowledge him.
Blow him off, I promise. I will not blow him off.
You want
I hope he blows. I'm going to blow him off.
to blow him off, right?
Yeah.
You're Wardo of the golf stable.
He will not get a text from me being out there. It's like when I go to Phoenix for the waste management, I will never text Kevin Kopp bothering him. "Hey, do you
I know,
tickets? Can you?
but I
I'm
will.
here with the boys."
But I will. Hey, Hillig, you got any room over there?
I'll take Sillig. He's not running a tournament. That's a different story.
I got a funny, reminded me of a story I saw on YouTube. It was Don Rickles telling this story. Yeah, I think he was on the Johnny Carson show. And so you say, yeah, I ran into Frank Sinatra at a bar one night and I was entertaining some young gal over here in the corner, very nice restaurant, going to give her a nice meal, things, I said, yeah. Go over there and I tell Frank, I said, hey, Frank, would you mind coming over? I want to introduce you to this gal because I really like her. And I think if you came over, it would help me throughout the night. So Frank says, yeah, I'll stop by in a little bit. So sure enough, Frank comes over and says, hey, Don, how you doing? He says, Frank, can you leave me alone for crying out loud? Can't you see him with a good-looking girl here? That's Devin.
Well, I'll be.
Leave me alone.
I won't be there, so you won't blow me off. I'm going to be at the Shell Houston Open tomorrow. I'm heading down.
Jerry.
I'm going to see Jerry. Yeah, someone's got to support Jerry tomorrow. Maybe we'll have a nice year. Maybe he'll be the Royals. Right?
Yeah, I hope so.
I mean, that's what we're hoping for.
Last week.
He played last week, made the cut, finished middle of the pack or so.
Okay.
I think he had
That's 3 cuts made.
tough. Justin Thomas lost by a shot, made the cut on the number. So like that tournament's kind of cool because if you make the cut, 5 under was leading through 2 rounds. So the scores are high.
Is that part of a course?
I've never been there, but
Harry Higg had 2 triples, didn't
Maybe.
he? That's what I heard. Or maybe that wasn't last week. I think it was. But okay, so Royals, we're going to have a great year, 2025. George Brett is going to inspire us.
All year.
Okay. All right. All right. Hey, wait till you see our next interview. If you like Formula One and you like McLarens, you like fast cars and hot ladies like Leslie Brett, you don't want to miss this. Golf Underground.